everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Almost said Monday, feels like a Monday. Back to work today, had off yesterday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Great 3-day weekend, that was awesome, but like I said, things are all kind of screwed up right now, and it feels like a Monday, but it's not, it's Tuesday, which is awesome, because that means partially already through the week, part of the week is already over, gotta love that, already moving on to the weekends, and that's always awesome. So happy Tuesday again to each and every one of you. Hopefully you guys had a 3-day weekend. Hopefully you had off yesterday. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but if you did, hopefully you had a great day and took advantage of it. So anyway, let's get down to it. Let's take a look at what I've recently been watching. That's what we have today. Today we have a review video. Going to talk about the titles that I've recently been checking out, give you my very quick thoughts on each of them. These hopefully quick thoughts. Sometimes I know I ramble on a bit much, but I try to make these pretty quick. Just give you my quick thoughts on each of these titles. Once again, like always, spoiler alerts. I don't hold back. There may be spoiler alerts. There may be spoilers in this video. I just sort of talk about the movies. I say what it is I want to say, and there are times where I may spoil a movie, so heads up, just let you know that. Anyway, now that's out of the way, let's get down to it. So the first time I checked out is one I can't physically hold up and show you, as it is a title I only have an ultraviolet copy of, and that is Plastic Galaxy, the story of Star Wars toys, which was a pretty cool documentary to an extent. As the documentary says, the story of Star Wars toys. So you would think it was a documentary all about different Star Wars toys. Pretty cool, right? It very briefly, and I mean very briefly, talks about any other Star Wars toys besides action figures. That's pretty much it. Talks about the action figures, and even then talks a lot about the more classic action figures and a little bit of stuff after that, and then really just skims over any kind of new action figures from like the episode 1, 2, and 3. Very quickly skims over that, and any other toys it barely talks about whatsoever. That was kind of my disappointment. I really want to see a documentary talking about all Star Wars toys, not just the action figures, but it is what it is. So it was a pretty good documentary. I would recommend checking it out. It was very informative, very interesting. If you're a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of toys, it is something worth checking out. I wouldn't pay too much for it. I'd say if you can get the DVD for cheap, or you can get the ultraviolet copy of it for a good price or something like that. Maybe you got some free Voodoo points or something like that, Voodoo credit from Walmart or something like that, and you want to redeem it towards that, okay, but I wouldn't really pay a lot for it. It was good, it was well done, it was interesting, and if you're interested in it, I would recommend checking it out. But all in all, could have been better, could have been longer, could have talked more about all kinds of different Star Wars toys, not just action figures. But again, it is what it is. It was decent, and I would recommend checking it out if it is something you want to see. Then I finally finished up King of Queens. Watched the 9th season, the last season, all done with King of Queens now. Gotta say, I do enjoy this series, as I've been saying with the rest of the seasons. Not my favorite sitcom. It is enjoyable. It is worth checking out. If you like early 2000 sitcoms, see it. It is definitely funny, definitely worth seeing. But again, not my favorite. But I did like the last season. It was pretty good. I liked how it kind of ended with, ended on like kind of like a rocky marriage, and then everything working in the end. I like the last episode where, I won't give too much away, but I like in the last episode where the whole baby situation with the pregnancy and the adoption and all that stuff is interesting. And then they fast forward like a year later. Pretty interesting. Arthur moving back in. I mean, it's pretty funny how they did like a 1 year later kind of thing right at the end of the last episode, and you saw where they were going to be and how things, only kind of got more crazy. Not necessarily got better, just more crazy. So I did enjoy this series. It was good. And even though it wasn't one of my favorite sitcoms ever, it's still sad when you get to the end of a sitcom. You got yourself all invested in these characters for 9 seasons. You've gotten yourself invested. You learned about them. You know about them. It's all these characters you've grown to love. And all of a sudden, it's over. And it does feel really sad, especially if they do like a little montage at the end too, with like sad music. It's a little sad to see a season end or series end, even if you're not like, even if it's not the best series you've ever seen in your life. It is still sad, and it was a little sad to see King of Queens be over. But all in all, a good sitcom. I do enjoy it. I would recommend it. It is very funny, and maybe not my favorite sitcom, but still a very enjoyable and very well done sitcom that I would definitely recommend checking out. Then I watched Playing Mona Lisa. This was an interesting one. Really all about Alicia Witt and her character. She is kind of like on the road to success, really good at playing piano, wins this competition, yada, yada, yada. And then things kind of just go downhill. She kind of starts screwing up her life because of a guy and whatnot and getting involved, I should say with the wrong people. These are her friends, but kind of going down their path as opposed to like kind of staying in her own thing that she sort of was doing. And of course her boyfriend had broken up with her. Now she's like super depressed because of that. And that's sort of why she starts joining in with her friends and kind of going on a downward spot with them and whatnot. But in the end, apparently it looks like everything works out. We don't know. Cliffhanger. I actually sent Alicia Witt a message on Instagram saying, hey, I just checked out playing Mona Lisa. What happens at the end? And so the cliffhanger, do things work out? Let us know. And she never responded. So it is what it is. But it was an okay movie. Nothing great, nothing amazing, just okay. It was nice to see Alicia Witt in something. I love seeing her. You don't see her and stuff all that often, so it was nice to see her pop up. But all in all, just okay. It was mediocre. But if you have any interest in checking it out, if you come across this title and you thought, I'm interested in seeing it, then I would say see it. It is worth at least a watch if you're interested. But otherwise, it's really nothing you need to see. Then some IMAX here with Magnificent Desolation, Walking on the Moon, narrated by Tom Hanks. It is an IMAX documentary. It is what it is. It's pretty much what you expect to see. It's something that would play, in a big IMAX theater at some science institute or something like that for all the kids to go see and whatnot. It sort of has that feel to it, but it's interesting nevertheless. Not my favorite IMAX documentary ever. It is only 40 minutes long, so not too long. It just briefly kind of discusses men walking on the moon, and that's really it. But again, very interesting, but at the same time, very quick. It doesn't really get into any detail. It just kind of says, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So almost like, I'd say like a brief history of man walking on the moon is basically kind of what this is. So it was interesting. I learned some things I didn't know. Worth checking out if you like IMAX documentaries, but super informative? No, it was not. But still, worth checking out. I enjoyed it. It's IMAX. I've enjoyed everything IMAX I've ever seen, and this was no difference. Then I checked out Walk of Shame. This was alright. Another one of those just kind of okay, mediocre sort of titles, although Elizabeth Banks is just, oh my god, she's crazy hot. Let me just look at her. I gotta say it. Anyway, but an okay, mediocre, romantic comedy. It's all about Elizabeth Banks' character. She's this news anchor, and she's got to get to this meeting, but she like goes out and parties with her friends because she thinks she didn't get this job that she was going after. So she goes out, gets drunk, goes in with this guy, and everything goes downhill from there. She gets caught up with like some gangsters, and then like caught up in drug dealing and all this stuff. Just basically how this whole day of her trying to get to this interview, because the job she's supposed to get, they decide not to go with that anchor. They're gonna go with her now, but she has to go to the interview, and they have to like check her out and everything like that. Now she's stuck trying to get there, and she doesn't have a car. And it's just huge. It's just like one of those bad day sort of films where just things seem to be going quite well, and then just plummet to the ground. But of course, it's one of those also movies where it's like, had she just maybe really told somebody who she was. There's so many scenes in this movie where I'm like, she could have gotten out of this situation like that, but she didn't, because it wouldn't make for the movie. Even though she goes up to somebody, boom, can get out of the situation, but then we wouldn't have a movie. The movie would be over in like 10 minutes, and it wouldn't just continue on. So instead of her getting out of a situation, she just digs herself in deeper, which is a little ridiculous. But it was okay. It wasn't anything great. I wouldn't say that, again, this is not one of those movies I'd say you have to go out and see. If you're interested in checking it out, sure, see it, but otherwise, it's nothing you gotta see. It was just mediocre. Then I checked out Michael Jackson's This Is It, the 3D Enhanced Edition, which, as it says, includes over 10 minutes of 3D footage. Ooh, that's all this is. It's the Michael Jackson This Is It documentary with 10 minutes of 10 minutes of the footage in 3D. They shot 3D. I'm still not sure how it was going to work, but they had shot 3D video that they're actually going to use for the concert. I don't know if they're going to hand out. I guess they're going to hand out 3D glasses to everybody in the audience. I guess, I don't know. But there's supposed to be 3D elements to the show, just little kind of like things playing in the background that were going to be in 3D, and that's what we get in here. They basically just all those things that they did 3D for the show, they show us, and that's really it. That's what you're getting in 3D. So this is a little bit of a rare 3D Blu-ray, as it was only sold through Sony stores with certain Sony TVs. But is it worth like seeking out and paying a lot of money for? No, because you're not really getting much in the way of anything 3D. And this is this was okay. This is my first time ever watching Michael Jackson's This Is It. I wasn't blown away. As I said, I think when I talked about this, when I picked this up, I got this from Listia. I mentioned that, when it comes to Michael Jackson, I love, like, 70s Michael Jackson, fine. 80s Michael Jackson, definitely. Or even early 90s Michael Jackson, still pretty cool. And then everything after that, I'm just like, I didn't really like his music. I kind of just didn't really care much for him because he just got crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier to the point where it was just kind of disturbing. So, it is what it is. I kind of like early Michael Jackson, and then anything later I didn't really care for. And this is obviously later. This was his last, him getting ready for his last tour he was going to do, and rehearsing for his last tour before he unfortunately passed away. So it's a newer Michael Jackson, which isn't really my thing. I can't tell if it's just the fact that he's 50 in this. So I can't tell if it was the fact that he's 50, if his singing and dancing didn't seem as good as it used to be, or maybe if he just wasn't giving his all because he was just practicing. I don't know. He was just rehearsing his songs. He was rehearsing his dancing. So it makes me wonder, was he not giving it his all, or was the fact that he's 50 years old kind of what's going on here, and he's just not, he's not the same Michael he used to be, where, back in the 80s and whatnot, you watch him dance, and you'd be like, damn, that guy can dance, and even sing, and now it's just kind of like, So, you don't really know. I read some things about this, and there's some stuff where people are trying to get it not released because they felt Michael Jackson wouldn't have wanted this release because he wasn't giving it his all. So there is that, possibly. I've read some stuff about possibly there are some like doubles in this. People who are, people pretending to be Michael Jackson, who aren't really Michael Jackson, could be as well. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past Sony to get a look-alike and put him up on stage to pan out some of the movie. I wouldn't be surprised, but they claim that's not the case. Who knows? So, if you like Michael Jackson, I guess is worth checking out. But if you're like me and you just like, if you like classic Michael, you're not really a big fan of his like later stuff, then it's nothing you really need to see because you're not really getting much out of this. Yes, he performs all of his classic songs, but they don't really sound all that good, and you're just watching a rehearsal of them. So, it is what it is. Then I checked out a great documentary, Being Elmo, A Puppeteer's Journey. Although after I watched this, I found out that, I'm already forgetting his name. Kevin Clash, who does the voice of Elmo and does Elmo, created the character of Elmo. He was like charged for like, was it child molestation or something like that, or something like years ago. The case was dropped and the charges were dropped and he wasn't found guilty or anything like that. But I'm like, what the hell? And I found out when that happened, apparently he stepped down from working with the Jim Henson studio, and finding that out after I've watched this is pretty crazy because watching this, it shows this guy who just, this kid who just loved puppets and wanted to work with puppets and started doing it on his own and whatnot, and then got himself into the Jim Henson workshop, just found his way, just getting himself in there, just doing everything he possibly could to get himself into the door, and finally doing what he wanted to do and creating this. Again, Elmo was already created, but the puppet wasn't working, so he changed the voice and changed the character, gave it the character of like a little kid, and whatnot, and made it like this huge big star, and then he became this this great person within the Jim Henson company, and then apparently I guess had to step down because of these charges that were brought against him, which is really sad because it's sad for two things. Because one, if he did it, then that's of course very sad, but it's also sad because if he didn't do it, his life screwed up because of this, and that's he was doing what he wants, he was doing what he loved, he was doing what he wanted to do with his life, his whole life. This is what he wanted to do, and he finally got to that point, and I guess he had to step down because of these accusations. So hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. I don't want these accusations to be real, but I don't want them to be false either. Because, I don't want them to be false because I feel it's sad that he lost his job because of that. But then again, I don't want them to be real because I don't want children to be molested. So, double-edged sword. I feel really bad. I got to look up more information on that. It's very sad. Either way, either way it happened, whether it did or didn't happen, it's very sad either way. But it was a really well done documentary. Definitely worth checking out. Very interesting. But just after you're done watching this, look up some more information because apparently the story goes on. I didn't realize that until afterwards. I was talking to my wife about it. She's like, "Oh, did you hear?" I was like, "What? No, I did not hear that." So crazy. Then I checked out the Skeleton Twins. This was very enjoyable. Really, really love this one about these twins who just hadn't been together for a long time. coming back into each other's life and the craziness that ensues. And just very well done. I love all the witty banter. I love all the different characters. I love all the situations they get themselves into, and not necessarily like crazy, wacky, like funny situations, but just like very serious situations. This is definitely a dramedy. It's, it's got its funny moments, but it's got its very serious moments as well. And it was very well done. Definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed the hell of this one. Hadn't even heard of this one before it came out. I hadn't heard of it. In fact, I probably wouldn't have heard of it if not for the fact that there was a $3 off coupon at coupons.com, which I do not believe is there anymore, but there was a coupon at one point that I did use towards getting this. And that's the only reason I even heard about this. I saw the coupon. I was like, what is this movie? I looked into it, got good reviews. I figured, oh, I'll check it out. What the hell? And it was definitely worth it. Definitely a good watch. This is one I would highly recommend. And then finally got around to checking out Pain and Gain. Finally. I've had this movie in my collection for a while now. In fact, I had it on DVD and then replaced it with the Blu-ray, and I still haven't got around to watching it. Finally checked it out. Crazy story, especially since this is like based off a true story. I don't know how much is exactly true and how much has been changed, but still very crazy. These bodybuilders and just what they did with killing people and extortion and all kinds of crazy shit that went down. And if most of this movie is based in truth, then holy shit, what a crazy story. At the end of the movie, actually, they're showing you like photos and stuff from the actual like crime scenes, and it's nuts. So crazy story. A lot of people, like when I said I was checking this out, they're like, oh, that movie was really funny. It had funny moments in it. There were definitely some silly, goofy, funny moments. Just characters, especially The Rock. The Rock plays pretty funny character. Also some funny lines here and there. There were definitely some moments played up for like laughs, but I was like, I don't know. I kind of took it as a much more serious movie. It's just definitely a crime. It's a crime thriller with some funny moments put into it, in my opinion. That's what I thought of it. So I really enjoyed this one. It was very good. Again, the fact that it's based off a true story is pretty crazy, because what goes on in this movie is definitely nuts. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this, and the story, the whole crime that takes place in this movie is insane. So I recommend checking it out. I actually really enjoy Pain and Gain. Like I said, it's definitely a crime thriller, but it has some comedic moments in it. It's definitely some moments that'll make you laugh, and it is certainly worth checking out. And then last but not least, I finished up Season 3 and Season 4 of Dragon Ball. Season 3 I finished up watching at work, and then over the weekends, I think Pain and Gain's the only movie I actually watched over the weekend. I spent the rest of the weekend watching Season 4 of Dragon Ball. I just got hooked. I gotta watch more Dragon Ball, and I'm gonna finish up Season 5, the last season of Dragon Ball. I'm gonna finish that up this week. I'll start watching it at work, and we'll see how far I get. And maybe I'll watch some more at home as well. So very awesome. 2 more fantastic seasons. I love Dragon Ball Season 3. I love when it gets to the end, and it's a world of martial arts championship, and just the fighting and how intense it gets, and the story just gets so amazing. And then that actually doesn't end like a cliffhanger. Basically the story goes right into Season 4. Like the World Martial Arts Championships are coming to an end, but they go into 4. 4 starts off with the World Martial Arts Championships, and they end, and then Piccolo here comes, and that's when things get bad. He's going to destroy the Earth, take over the Earth, and of course, who has to save him? Goku. But crazy Krillin's dead, Master Roshi's dead. People dying left and right in this season, and that's insane. The great dragon, when you collect all the Dragon Balls and the dragon comes, been destroyed apparently. That is nuts. So I'm curious to see, does Master Roshi come back? Does Krillin comes back? What happens? Are they dead forever? Because they were thinking about collecting the Dragon Balls and bringing them back, but they were like, no, we gotta get the Dragon Balls to defeat Piccolo. But then, of course, they didn't need to do that because Piccolo destroyed the dragon, and then Goku had to come and destroy Piccolo. But at the very end, Piccolo spits out another egg and spits it out somewhere in the earth, so his story's not over. He will be back in a different form, but he will be back eventually, and I'm curious to see how that goes. So this ended very awesome. Last episode with Roku. What am I talking about? Goku. I'm thinking of my Roku. With Goku killing off Piccolo, and it was awesome. It was so cool. I love the battle. It was such an epic battle to see Piccolo take over the Earth, and Goku have to try to fight him, but not succeed because Piccolo was stronger. And then Goku having to go on this journey to drink this water that make him stronger, and he drank it. And he was the only person to ever drink the water who has survived, because you got to be like special to survive this water. Nobody ever has. He drank it. He survived. He gained the power. He defeated Piccolo. It was awesome. So I love Dragon Ball. I'm like so obsessed with this show now. I cannot wait to watch season 5 and then move on to Dragon Ball Z, because that's what, 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z. I hear that's amazing too. Can't wait to watch it. And then Dragon Ball GT, which I hear is not very good, but I'm still looking forward to checking it out anyway. I hear it's not nearly as good, but I still look forward to checking it out. So if you have not gotten into Dragon Ball, which I know a lot of you probably have, and you're thinking, wow, you're just finally getting into this? Yes, I am. I'm just finally getting into this, but I see what all the fuss was about. When all my friends were watching this back in the day, I see why they loved it. It's a fantastic show, and I cannot wait to go on to Dragon Ball Z. So that is it, guys. That is it for today's Daily Sickness video. Look, only 20 minutes. That's pretty good. I can't believe I got through all this in 20 minutes. That was pretty amazing. I expected to be talking about this for much longer. So again, Plastic Galaxy, decent documentary about Star Wars toys, but really when it comes down to it, it's just about Star Wars action figures. Doesn't really talk about toys that much, and even when it comes to the action figures, they basically really talk about the early action figures. So it is worth checking out if you like documentaries, if you like Star Wars, if you like toys. It is worth seeing, but I wouldn't say go out and spend like a lot of money. Don't spend like $20 on the DVD or something, because it's not that great, but it is worth checking out nevertheless. King of Queens, fantastic. Really do enjoy this one. Again, not my favorite sitcom, but a great sitcom nevertheless, and I did really enjoy it. It was great, and I would certainly recommend checking it out. Playing Mona Lisa, mediocre. It was an okay story. It's one of those titles I would say if you want to see it, if you've been interested in checking this one out, if it seems like something you want to see, then see it. Otherwise, you don't really need to. Maybe sort of the same thing here with the IMAX documentary, Magnificent Desolation, Walking on the Moon. It was good. It's worth checking out. If you really like IMAX documentaries, it is worth seeing. But with that being said, it was only 40 minutes long. Skimmed over everything. Just a brief history of men walking on the moon. And it was just okay. But if you like these kind of documentaries, then it is worth seeing. Walk of Shame. Like I said, also mediocre. Not all that great. Just an okay romantic story of Elizabeth Banks and just her horrible, awful day of just shit piling on top of her and things not working out, where of course she could have got out of that situation like 100 times, but she doesn't, because that wouldn't make for a movie. So it was okay. Again, also falls under the category of if you really want to see it, check it out. Otherwise, you don't need to. Michael Jackson, This Is It, 3D enhanced version. You don't need to see the 3D enhanced version. You're not getting very much out of that. It's one of those things where, I think I said this before when I've talked about when I got this, little icon up on the corner of the TV flashes when you need to put your glasses on, when you need to take them off. It's one of those dealies. So if you want to get this, just get the DVD or something like that. I have the 2-disc DVD over there that has like a whole bunch of special features on it. This is bare bones, by the way, so yeah, you do not need this. Don't go out and spend like big bucks on trying to get like this limited edition 3D enhanced version. You don't need it. Plus, if you're like me and you just like classic Michael Jackson, then you don't really need to see this, because it's really not worth watching. Just get like the Michael Jackson #1 or Michael Jackson This Is It. Or no, sorry, not This Is It. Michael Jackson History. Reading the wrong titles. Get those. I mean, it shows all his videos and they're awesome. It's classic Michael. That's what you want to see. Being Elmo, absolutely fantastic documentary. Check this one out. Really well done. But like I said, after you watch it, do a little bit more research, because the story still continues and it's a pretty messed up story. Skeleton Twins, fantastic dramedy. This is one I would highly recommend. Kind of like artsy, but very good. Nevertheless, see this one. I really enjoyed it. I think out of everything I saw, definitely what I enjoyed the most. Fantastic movie. Looking forward to watching it again already. Pain and Gain, great crime thriller, but with some comedy thrown in. Effed up story. Absolutely crazy story, just what these guys do, and that's what makes the movie so interesting. I see why they based the movie off this crazy story of this crazy crime. Check it out. It was enjoyable. And of course, Dragon Ball Season 3 and Season 4, fantastic seasons. If you're like me and you've waited all this time to get into Dragon Ball, what the hell are you waiting for? Get into it. It's worth it. Don't be stupid like me. Don't put it off. Get into Dragon Ball. It's a fantastic series. So that's it, guys. That is it. So like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. Just click the thumbs up icon. It takes 2 seconds, and it means the absolute world to me. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already subbed, please do. I do a brand new daily sickness video every single day, plus other videos sprinkled in here and there. So if you want to see a new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, down below there's a link. Click on that link. Head on over there. Check it out. There's a lot more to see there than just these videos. All kinds of updated information on deals that I find that are going on. Up-to-date information on what I'm currently up to. Also, if you like my videos, while you're there, click on the Team Sickness tab. Check out everything from those guys and gals. Collection updates, reviews, all kinds of great stuff. If you like what I do, you like what they do, check them out. And also while there, be sure to click on the merchandise tab and purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker, a Cinema Sickness button, or a Cinema Sickness t-shirt. I'd really appreciate the support. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Hope you had a great weekend. Hopefully it was a 3-day weekend. If it wasn't, sorry. But hopefully you had a great weekend nevertheless. And again, have a fantastic Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Yes, already halfway through the week tomorrow. That's awesome. See you then, guys. Bye.